I'm a family man from Salt Lake, and we know how to make families there. Anyway, there's me. There's my clothes that I wear. There's some stuff that I do, some books that I've written or helped write. Here's some of the. I was on Modern Family last season for a few seconds, and then there's a new show, Criminal Minds Beyond Borders. This one's on Netflix, which is really fun, called Granite Flats. You should look at that. All right, so when I'm on the phone in pre-show calls with people like yourselves, your ilk, as it were, I always ask you, what do you want from me? And I appreciate that you've contracted me and I'm booked and ready to come. But sometimes you might book me 6 months in advance and maybe the theme changes or whatever, and it's like an ironclad speaker contract. You can't get out of it no matter how much you hate me by then, because 6 months go by and you realize you've changed your mind or whatever. So I always ask, do you want more of the no or the show? And I think we've had such a beautiful array of examples of that here today, which is basically kind of like I try to have them imagine a spectrum where the left end is, if you were to polarize this definition of the no, this is where you're getting every dime out of your speaker's budget in terms of strategic and aligned messages. My C-suite people need to see our people come out of that 3-day conference with your message doing something to promote engagement and excitement and to move the needle and to give us a bottom line result. The entertainment factor on the left side is absolutely zero. There is no entertainment, so to speak. The right side, of course, is the show. It's the motivation. It's the inspiration. It's the kind of vague, not vague necessarily, but general motivation that just hits us all where we live. And all of that is absolutely worthwhile and of value. You can read some of the descriptions on each side. I typically will fall somewhere in the middle, as most of the people here do today. It's what Matt just mentioned. It's entertaining, but there's a message there. There's some teeth. There's a takeaway. There's something for your people to go away with. Most of my focus is with leadership and management. Frontline supervisors, managers, directors, and how they can influence really the bottom line through how they treat people. My topics are all very people-friendly. One of my books and one of the topics is about people skills, soft skills, called People. Kind of the flagship presentation is the levity effect, why it pays to lighten up. And this is why I think I've had such success in virtually every industry on the planet, because everyone I talk to says, oh man, do my managers need that message? The carrot principle, you'll notice if you look really close, my name is on that one. I contributed authorship on that. I worked as a director of a training and presentation group for a huge international company for about a decade. And with some co-authors, we did these carrots books about employee recognition and appreciation. My background is in human resources in terms of my degree, but I channeled that into presentations and training and instructional design and all of that. So with the Hollywood background and the kind of the stage things and then all of the other stuff, it's turned out nicely. There's some good messages there that are presented, I think, in an entertaining way. I'm talking incredibly fast, of course, because I can see the clock. Just quickly, the people stuff. Let me ask you guys this. When you use the word or the term people, or she's a real people person, give me like a one-word adjective. Dave's a real people person because he's very friendly. What else? Engaging. What was that? Outgoing. You get a lot of tangible, physical characteristics described. Affable, charming, etc. This is what I would call a type 1 people person, or a T1. And that's basically, again, using another spectrum or continuum, if we were to put them on the left end, style over substance. They're good with people. A lot of people are born this way. You just see it in them. I'm not, by nature, a great T1. If you've seen me here today at all, I kind of lurk around. I don't just run up and engage with people, but I'm learning. I'm trying to get better at that. Most of my colleagues here are really, really good, and that's why they work more than me. But anyway, and that's okay. God bless them. Anyway, so a type 2 would be at the other end of the spectrum. And again, these would be clinically shy, perhaps even needing therapy, very, very introverted type people. They barely exist and function in society. But what qualifies them, or what puts them on the people-person spectrum, is really the heart and soul of being a people person. They love people. They care about people. They might not be great with people like a T1, but they're good to people. They just don't really know how to express it. They don't know how to look people in the eye and speak loud and clear and enunciate or whatever it is. So those are the T2s. By the way, a T2 back in 1990 looked something like this, just kind of shut out from the world. You have your 8-track deck or whatever that is on the hip. I remember trying to jog in one of those back then. Everything just skipped. It was crazy. Now it's the same. It's just a little different. Anyway, all right, so type 3 then is the sweet spot, and this is where we all want to be, obviously. It's the lampshade wearers who've learned to put what I call putting people first. And you can do that from an organizational perspective as well. This is all great for individuals, but from a company perspective, we also want to do these things because it's been proved that an individual who has real people skills, they do live longer, healthier, and happier lives. And we've heard a lot of that today. I love all of that very supportive stuff that we've heard, research and other things. From a company perspective, many of you are familiar with the seminal study from Cotter and Heskett, where they went in and they found very positive people-first cultures, and they associated things like revenue growth and stock appreciation. Does it pay to lighten up? Here the proof is in the pudding. 8 to 9 times higher output in terms of stock appreciation for those that have a deliberate people strategy. And that's kind of what these keynotes talk about. I'm just giving you a little bit here. Google even wanted to do their Project Oxygen. Some of you may have heard of the surveys and the research they did among their people to find out what makes a great manager here at this very high-tech, forward-thinking organization. Interestingly, of all the list of characteristics that came out of it, most of them fueled by the employees themselves, dead last was the boss's technical expertise. It was the people stuff. Be a good coach, expressing interest, recognizing, communicating well. We don't care how smart you are. Laszlo Bock, their VP of the people department, which I love that they've named it that, he said, we always believed you needed to be as deeper a technical expert than the people who work for you. Much more important is just making a connection and being accessible. In other words, the old adage, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. We've heard that. We hear it at church. We hear it among our families. Is it applicable in the workplace? Heck yeah. I think most of us here probably can corroborate that. But some sobering workplace stats from the New York Times, never been known to lie or stretch the truth, so you know it happens to be true, absolutely. 1/4 of North Americans are driven to tears by stress. 50% complain of verbal abuse and yelling. Folks, when are we ever going to learn that that kind of behavior needs to stay at home? Really. There's just no place for that in a modern U.S. 30% complain of unrealistic deadlines. 52% say 12-hour days are standard fare. 1 in 12 complain the chair hurts my butt. That's when you get those midnight acquisition, session. I'm going to stay a little later. And you squeak around and you change chairs with someone whose lumbar handle actually works. So lightening up in the workplace is what the levity effect is all about. And it's not about necessarily being the funniest person. Like, employees do not demand that you as their boss really are the greatest, the Henny Youngman of the... Henny Youngman? How does... No one in this room knows who... Well, with the possible exception of Bob. But anyway, yeah, Henny, yeah. I don't even know what generation that would come from. Anyway, these are the 3 areas that I cover. They do rhyme. They're kind of a cutesy speaker's device. I will admit that. Mandy knows. She heard me yesterday. But these are important. This is the takeaway of lightening up at work. How do I do it? When I give a presentation, I have a handful of specific real-world examples, but I do not bombard these people because I know that no matter what I prescribe, they're mostly going to say, yeah, that would never work with my people. We don't want to do Office Olympics. Popsicle Day wouldn't be fun for us. We're all lactose intolerant, or whatever it is. I don't think there's milk in popsicles, but... Anyway, I'm just rolling off the cuff here, the proverbial. But anyway, so I try to broaden it a little bit and say, look, can you individually as a leader have more latitude? Let me give you an example. Just the other day I read this. For the Rio 2016 Olympics, before the Olympics, Harris did a big poll. 955 American adults polled. They basically extrapolated the numbers to say that 55 million U.S. workers wanted to watch, we're never going to make that time, wanted to watch the Olympics during work, and the vast majority said, we know our boss will never, ever allow us to do that. Now, what do they plan to do? Change their shift, stream the event anyway, leave early, come late, take a vacation or a personal day. Do you as a boss see an opportunity here? Is there an opportunity to show appreciation and recognition? Could you not say on just one day of the week, could we not carve out a longer lunch break or an afternoon time where I bring in the food and we sit together and we watch Michael Phelps get his 37,000th gold medal together live as Americans? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the camaraderie, the respect, the love, and you're using that as a tool of appreciation and recognition. It's not just a willy-nilly fun time. It's you saying, you know, the way we finished that project on time and under budget last month deserves a little something. And I know that you guys love the Olympics and you wish that you could be home watching it with your family or whatever. Boom, here we go. I love that. Does it matter to have fun at work? Yes. Okay, good. All right, very nice. All right, attitude is what you bring to the workplace. Is there a connection, for example, between employee retention and their boss's sense of humor? What percentage of people said that they plan to stay another year who ranked their boss's sense of humor in the top box? Anybody? Take a guess, percentage-wise. Do you understand the question? Have I not laid... Where's Julie? I need another exercise. 9 out of 10 say, yeah, top sense of humor, I'm staying. I've worked in the industry. I even came over from another organization where I made more money. But I heard that their culture allows for levity. I've heard that their bosses are light and fun and allow us to do fun things. Often we leave a sense of humor out of our dealings because we're afraid we will lose what from our employees? Credibility, respect, authority, whatever it is. Bob Dole, I'm going back 20 years to escape from the current political landscape, but I thought this was a great example. If you know Senator Dole from Kansas, the war vet with the immobilized arm, here's a guy who basically said, I've got to provide a contrast in styles against the incumbent President Clinton. So he came at him with all of the monotone boredom that he possibly could. Every interview, every Meet the Press, every show he was on, he was the most staid, old, thank you, Matt, guy, and we all went, love the values, whatever, but where is that? He lost the election. Where was he like the night after the election was lost? Saturday Night Live. Making fun of himself. Letterman, on the couch, in a jacket, no tie, laughing. Really, really good sense of humor. He was in an ED commercial, a Viagra commercial. He's walking down the beach in a sweater. Ha, ha, birds flying overhead. This arm isn't the only, whatever. Sorry, I made a man laugh like a woman. Just kidding you. Let's give you something. Here, can you catch that? It's got pointy. Oh, nice. How about a hand right there? Very well done. Let's just get to the end. Here it is. Gratitude's important. We talk about this, full appreciation for work done, how to recognize. It's not just about fulfilling awards. It's about making someone feel recognized. Because you can receive free stuff, but you can also feel appreciated and recognized. Too often we put the onus of recognition on the doodad. And actually it's the words that are said. It's the sentiments that are expressed that actually recognizes a person. And then the doodad is the reminder of that moment when they felt appreciated. So be specific, be frequent when we get to the gratitude. Take it all home. If you can be happy and nice and kind and wonderful to all the people at work, for heaven's sakes, your family deserves the same thing. So in conclusion, which just way none of it, whatever, this is what levity is all about. It's not so much about being the next Jeff Foxworthy, who once said, if your idea of loading the dishwasher is getting your wife drunk, getting your wife drunk, loading the dishwasher, you give it a minute. It's kind of funny from a redneck perspective. You might be a redneck. It's more about being the next Jeff Bezos of Amazon.com, who said, we've got thousands of investors counting on us, and we're a team of thousands of employees all counting on each other. That's fun. It's not so much about being the next Richard Pryor. If you're from the younger generation, ask a neighbor who that is. It's more about being the next Richard Kovacevic, former CEO at Wells Fargo, who said that. It's not so much about being the next Robin Williams as it is about being the next Robin Gibb, who once with his chipmunk falsetto singing brothers said, what you doing on your back? What you doing on your back? You should be dancing. If you know the song, this is the first time you've ever learned what the hell those guys were saying. Dancing, that's a quick look at the No or in the show. Talk to Angela. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it.